Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I told you it wasn't going to be that long because we got game two on the way between Team Infernal and Team Ocean. And if there's anything that we got to take away from that first game, is that don't count out Team Ocean because they might just come back. Unfortunately for them, Team Infernal were just very, very far ahead with that lead. But it just when it came to composition strength, it is a little bit more difficult to try and close out the game with with the type of squad that Team Infernal did have going into that game, Alk Battery.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think a lot of the gold lead ended up carrying them, at least towards the end of that game. They were like
Hmm.
coasting on the 6 to 7,000 gold lead. Like, okay, well, hopefully the item differential will make up for the fact that we're losing a lot of these fights. Positioning from the top laners was, I think, the most key in that fight because in most of these fights, we saw Rodov was kind of properly being that frontline tank. We still saw a little bit of green behind the ears for Tony Top. There was a bunch of times where he would just go in and he's like, oh no, guys, wait, I need help. I'm in a very dangerous position. I'm in the no man's
Yeah.
land. It's taken down, and suddenly we saw all of those fights break open in favor of Team Ocean. So need a little bit of tweaking. We obviously saw the solo kills coming out from the two tank top laners at the beginning of the game, but I think with a little bit more kind of a moving of pieces, I think Tony Top and Rodolph could be this fantastic matchup as we develop into the series.
I mean, Tony Top was definitely tanking a lot of
Mhm.
damage and soaking up as much damage as he could. But as you said, the problem was he was doing it without the damage follow up right behind him. And when it got to those late game team fights, it's a lot scarier to do it when your backline consists of Zoe and Nidalee and Jin. Because if you overextend a little too far, I mean, obviously Nidalee has the mobility to be able to get herself out. Not Jin, not Zoe. And if they don't have Flash, then they're pretty much dead in the water if they get caught out by anything. Stray face breaker from Joey if he's able to get in there,
Mhm.
or the Call of the Forge God knocks him up and puts him into place, and then it's. I mean, we have to talk about Yon's damage towards the late game. You know, we talked about the
Yeah.
Trinity Force and his decision to go full out on the AD, and it almost worked for Team Ocean in the end.
Yeah, he almost pulls out the victory by himself, kind of just dragging his team. He's like, guys, all right, we're gonna win this one. Come on, you get in the bag. They just barely able to kind of eke out all of these victories, and I think it's the most important part of why we were looking at some of these 80 carries between Yon and Shoryu. What were they going to pick? And Ezreal is one of those champions that just allows your 80 carry to do whatever you want. You have free positioning at whatever point. You can be as aggressive as you like because there's so much safety in your kit. And
Right.
the amount of damage that is kind of afforded to this champion when you're maxing out as much as possible on mechanics, Yon is showcasing why. I mean, Team Ocean was a huge front runner and one of the dangerous kind of horses in the race here. But we even saw it like constantly. Yon was arcing shifting forward, which for a lot of teams, that is a
Whew.
huge no no. Your coach
Yeah.
sees that and they're like, all right, we're unplugging the keyboard right now, boys. We cannot allow that. Not happening.
We will say that that occurs 90% of the time that the
Yep,
coach is
happens
like, "All right,
anyway.
no, no,
We're
no, no,
going to do
no,
it anyway.
don't do it." But Jan says, "I don't care. I'm going in," and he made it work a lot of the times. Unfortunately, just his aggression and his overperformance wasn't enough to really bring a Team Ocean there.
Yeah.
And if we have to point out, one of the players that looked kind of underwhelming, it was NXI on the Lilia. I mean, you talked about it before during game one that Lilia isn't really necessarily a NXI signature champion. In fact, it's the Nidalee. The Nidalee, because even though that Lilia and Nidalee still have the ability to power farm and kind of hyperscale up towards the mid and late game, Nidalee allows you to get in the faces of your enemy opponent super early on. That's why he prizes the Nidalee. That's why he likes the Graves as well, because both of those jungles give him the agency to really start invading as long as you have priority. But when he was on the Lilia, I mean, we already saw from the draft, Shady on the Pantheon was giving Tomio the free world over on that bottom half of the jungle, and there's nothing that NSI could do to respond.
Yeah, you would think a Jin solo lane versus an Ezreal. It's like, okay, well, my support's going to be here. I already know Shady is like the most infamous for leaving the lane and making some plays that maybe some teams are thinking are
Hmm.
not allowed. But because of the kind of bot lane setup they gave themselves, Joey and Yan were not really in a position to try to be very aggressive and try to punish onto Shoryu. And we saw as the kind of the laning continued, Yunbi was the major focus in the first 15 minutes of the game. They wanted to make sure, hey, if we put down Yunbi, suddenly NXI is in a kind of sitting in the back foot. He's like, okay, well, I can't move forward because now my mid laner is behind. My mid laner no longer has flash. I need to be around mid lane. we weren't able to see too much. We saw him able to avoid NXI or sorry, Tomio for the first part of the game, but they weren't able to avoid the rest of the squad here from Infernal from showing up.
The position police was out in full force today, as we should be getting ready for draft in just a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen. And some things that we need to look at is now that Team Ocean is on the red side, they can save counter pick for either their mid laner Yumbi, either their top laner Rodolph if he wants to go for something more aggressive. Not to say that his Ornn play wasn't good. In fact, it was one of the more redeeming things apart from Yon's Ezreal through that game one. But now that Team Infernal have, oh my god. Just as I say it,
No
Dimitri,
one.
they're like, you know what, Rodolph, you're not allowed to have that champion anymore.
Yeah, we're gonna just take away all the tanks. And being on red side, there's a few things that I'm looking forward to see from Ocean. Obviously, Samira has been a staple ever since the first game. Ever since Shoryu first started off that game, and he immediately goes into Cloud and gets 4 dashes at level 2 on Samira, and just blows up in the rest of that game. I think after that, everyone's like, okay, the champion we thought maybe was gonna be balanced. Nope, 300 years out into the ban rotation.
Oh, now we're at 300 years. You know, where did this increase, the extra 100
Well,
years come from?
I mean, there's what, like 100 plus employees at Riot. They have 1+ year. It's simple math. You do math on cast. 100 times 1 easy.
I still don't know where you're getting these numbers, but you know, looking at this draft phase so far, apart from the Ornn, nothing else has really changed for either of these teams. Leona still being taken away. Actually, this time around, it's the Leona that is being banned by Team Infernal because they know that they don't want the other team to be able to pick it up on the backside. And look at this, Nidalee being taken off the table because they know Team Infernal want to prioritize a Lilia first pick. So Team Ocean, they could say, you know what, take the Lilia, and NXI could potentially take the Graves and ban something else.
Yeah, and if they take the Graves, the interesting thing here is, I wonder if we're going to see an Evelyn game from Tomio. So now that Lilia is gone, then we start to get a little bit dicey on when we'll see this, because now Lee Sin starts to come into the picture, and immediately that lock-in for Tomio, getting the Graves, like you're saying, first pick. Ocean kind of have their way with what they want to pick. They can go ahead and they've been showing that they're just going to pick support constantly anyway. So you still have something available for Joey if they want. Set is there, and I don't think Joey played it all that bad. And if there was ever a time to just try and go ahead and pick it up again, this would be it. You still have the flexibility for yourself as they try to hover Kindred. This does give us maybe kind of a glimpse as to what they want, as now we even see Pantheon here. Talk me through this Kindred versus Graves if you see it.
I mean, we've seen it all week, and more so recently in the past couple of days here. Alk Battery, it can swing either way. The early game, the first couple of minutes, there is a lot more lethality, and I guess when we talk about card games, there's higher chances of lethal from the Kindred than it is for the Graves because of that Mounting Dread giving you that execute damage on the third proc. But Graves just farms so much faster and much more reliably than the Kindred. So if NXI is not able to work with his laners and either set himself up for success in securing those marks or going for kills and accelerating his gold lead, then he's just going to get outpaced. Oh, we got a Gragas coming in.
This is
That's
the Gragas
definitely for
support.
Shady.
Yeah, this has to be for Shady. Immediately, they're just saying, okay, sure, you want to play the Pantheon? We'll play that really fun counter matchup. So, okay, we're going to just go straight for Jhin, take that away. Well, this is the Shoryu champion, and if you want, yet again, we're going to give maybe Yon picks up the Ezreal, but they maybe want to have a little bit more early game against Jhin. So there is still some options available there for Ocean. This is really, really fun to play. And obviously,
Callista, maybe?
we have Gragas. I mean, now we have a free Kindred to counter immediately. They want to make sure that, hey, you may have the advantage in the jungle matchup, but as soon as we can maybe do some of these team fights, as soon as Shady hits 6, that ultimate is not going to...
That does not look right.
Okay, cool. I was going to make sure there's some champs coming out there. I was like, Okay, all right.
Well,
we're probably going to have to remake draft a little bit.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure up until the Kane pick, everything was in the right place, the right time. We're not getting any information quite yet on what the champion was supposed to be. So I'm pretty sure once everybody gets back into draft and everyone is sorted into the right place, we'll be able to see what the third pick was supposed to be for Team Ocean here. But, you said it. We talked about that NXI not only needs to be on an aggressive champion that gives him a lot of agency to start snowballing the game earlier on than the likes of Lilia, but he also needs his laners to be set up for success just from the draft, right from the get-go. And if they're not winning lane when you already have the likes of a Jin, Gragas on the table for Team Infernal, then either you need a really strong mid lane matchup so that you can start getting priority and agency, or you need it from the top side of the map.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think we'll see a strong topside matchup if Kane's taken, sadly. But you
I'm
know,
pretty sure that wasn't the damn champion that they
yeah,
tried to pick,
maybe
Dimitri.
but yeah, I agree. It's gonna kind of come down to these top laners. The thing is that Yunbi and Copy have been really great about being able to roam constantly, making sure that they're really good in lane, especially
Mhm.
Copy, of making sure, hey, if I have a wave push, I don't have to sit here. I'm going to immediately either go to find vision, put down jungle, some wards in the enemy jungle, make sure that I can at least track them, help my jungler find information, or just immediately makes that roam. That's why Zoe has been so perfect for him. He gets he can just grab any kind of summoner spell. If it's Ghost or if it's Redemption, he can make his way to another lane
Right.
so fast down that river. And even in his laning phase, he's been really good at being able to just clear the wave as soon as possible. And for Yunbi, things like the TF have been fantastic just because he's able to just have global pressure. That's why we've been seeing it so much. He has an ability to just leave the lane whenever he wants, hits level 6, boom, we can assist that bot lane with that Pantheon. Immediately try to open up the map for themselves. But we've been seeing a lot of priority around the jungle, and TF tends to help out. That could be the one that tries to help out the Kindred here for NXI, but it is not the safest mid lane pick, and is definitely vulnerable to, I know, a bunch of champions that Tony Top could be packing.
The other thing that I am curious about is that if what seems rumors to be a Twisted Fate R3 was supposed to be the intended pick for Team Ocean, then what will occur is that Team Ocean need to, as you said, prepare to start protecting this Twisted Fate pick, because Twisted Fate can't roam if he's always getting constantly shoved in
Yeah.
or getting threatened to die in a solo lane option. And one of those counter picks that not only has that ability to threaten TF in the laning phase, but also the ability to match the roam by just yoinking his own ultimate is that Silas. So I want to see if Team
Yeah.
Ocean prioritize a couple mid lane bans during that second phase of the draft, or if they start throwing bans towards the top side instead for Rodolph
Yeah, and
or
now
the Tony top.
this is probably just going to be the AD carry, right?
Mhm.
What we've been seeing constantly is just jungle, pick your bot lane and maybe a jungler. Go ahead, finish your bot lane picks, finish the bot lane picks, and put priority in the draft to try to protect your solo laners. Make sure that you can maybe get a great matchup, ban out some
Mhm.
things they didn't pick up for themselves. Just the likes of it. For Jan, he has a bunch of options here. Okay, there it is. It's gonna be TF, like we said.
Yep. The draft phase has gone back into
There we
where
go.
we were expecting it to be. Just like you said, Twisted Fate. And that works so well with Kindred because
Yeah.
Kindred mainly physical damage, Twisted Fate mainly magic damage. It's going to split that damage profile for Team Ocean and ensure that whatever mid laner Copy decides to go with, it's not going to be able to just build one straight up resistance. And look at that, Dimitri. Silas, gone.
Yeah, and we have talked about this for Upsurge finals of whether or not we were going to see the TF versus Silas matchup, because Copy is infamous for being a Silas player, especially earlier on into the season. So we were looking forward to see this matchup, but obviously really great use of kind of the pick ban here as picking up TF and immediately snap banning the Silas, making sure we're getting rid of this pretty okay matchup for the most part. Like you were saying, TF offers a lot of pick potential, and that's what we're seeing a lot from Ocean, right? If the Mounting Dread goes on to one target, we have Pantheon and TF who can just single out at one person on the team. More than likely, it's going to be this Jin, and just annihilate them, wipe them off the map, make sure that you're setting up for an uneven fight after the kills. We're seeing a little bit more pressure onto the AD carry, making sure they're getting rid of these supportive picks for Yon. If we're going to go for it, I think Ezreal would be the next one. Make sure that he doesn't have a lot of mobility from these champions, but he does have some options. And specifically now, I want to start to kind of hone in on this top lane matchup because we're running out of picks. They're going to get rid of Gangplank for Rodolph, one of the softer picks for him. And now he's going to have to start to kind of reach back a little bit into that pool.
I would imagine that had the Gangplank gone unbanned, that maybe Rodolph would have picked it, and then Jan would have saved a counter pick for something more aggressive. We've seen him play things like the Oh my god! Is it going to be the Talia Pantheon bot lane? Shoutouts to Damn One Gaming for first busting it out early in the season. We're getting it. APA extending some of the love and the flavor despite not being in this final matchup. It's going to be
wait a minute.
Talia in the bot lane, but now we have wait, what is this flex? There's no
okay,
way.
I'm gonna not acknowledge this Bard until I'm not gonna acknowledge this pick until it happens, because this draft is gonna start to get really wonky. I mean, we have this pick. Okay, cool. So it is gonna be the Galio. I did not want to acknowledge it whatsoever, but I mean, Jan has been playing a lot of this. One of his top picks in solo queue is going to be that Talia, because he's been practicing it so much. And Tony Top, here we go. We get his infamous Jax. Now, I wonder what flavor of Jax we're going to get as the Malphite hover absolutely ruins this draft. Lock it in, Rodolph. Do it. Hit him with the Malphite angle. No ego allowed in top lane.
Rodolph saying, Tony Top, I see from 2 days ago you faced a similar composition, all physical damage and only the magic damage coming from a Galio. You know it's a Malphite. Rock time, baby.
I've never seen Ninja Tabbies be so happy in their entire life. I've never seen Boots cry. This is the one moment. Thornmail as well is going to do fantastic, but still a lot of squishy members, right? This is, to be fair, Rodolph will find an engage, but it's entirely based upon their pick potential. They have the gold card, they have Talia and Pantheon, and obviously Malphite that we've already talked about. But if they can find a single person, or if some of these kind of go a little bit awry, as we saw in game one, suddenly this team composition is like, okay, we threw something out and it didn't work, and now this missed, and suddenly this Jax is in your backline. Then you also have Galio who's able to come in with kind of a rescue, and the team fight can get very, very sloppy very quickly for Ocean.
Game 2 between Team Ocean and Team Infernal. Even though Team Infernal did come out on top in the first game of the series, it was proven to be close, and now Team Ocean are flexing the strategies. They're being creative with the draft. I have to say, not only the Malphite obviously being locked in for Rodolph, taking a little bit of flavor from Tony Top's book this week, but also Jan on the Talia. We were amazed with the overperformance that we saw from him in game one, and now he is showing that not only knows how to play marksman really well, but he knows how to play the mages as well. I mean, this Talia Pantheon bot lane, this is a flavor we haven't seen since the beginning of the year, and now he's bringing it back when their backs are against the wall for this final round robin series here, Alk Battery.
Yeah, he needs to get the win here. It is one thing to be, okay, cool, like you pulled out the Talia, very nice. Did you grab the win, though? I don't think that this win affects standings too much for who our first and second place teams are going to be. So we're going to get right into game as soon as possible. We're going to have kind of just a mid lane spread. Now watch this. They're setting up in top lane, 3 people in the brush. I think Jack saw them. Oh, no. Oh, they ruined it.
Oh, yep, they got a little too trigger happy. And I wonder if I'm going to kind of quickly hover over some of the ability starts from... It looks like Jan did not start W for the instant Joey W into Talia W for the pick. So you're going to go for a little bit of lane control. Just continue throwing rocks in the lane as they will walk together as a group towards that bot side on the map. I don't think that Team Infernal were able to get any advantageous vision control in the bot side of their jungle to punish the fact that 3 of them were...
Oh, they're going to invade, I think.
Oh my god.
If they hug this wall, let me toggle vision. I just want to make sure that they don't. Yeah, so we already see the pings. They're going to go for this. They're going to immediately leave. Graves starts on his top side, so not going to get punished all too much. Should just go for the vertical jungling, and since there's no wards in top lane, Ocean will not see if Tomio crossed up there, but already really great job from Infernal just to try and protect some of their assets, specifically in their jungle.
Joey did start the W, but Jan doesn't have the W as well. He's going to go for throwing another rocks. NXI is level 2. He's going to come in. The Ignite comes out. It forces the flash from Shady. So already Team Infernal, despite not being afraid to scrap a little bit against Team Ocean's bot lane, they do come out down in this early laning phase.
Yeah, they're taking so much extra damage. Shady not only kind of blowing through all of his health pots, and we'll have to have a biscuit ready at the bite, but this is super dangerous here. We even see that, I mean, Shoryu has to back up. They have to make sure that there's not a Kindred sitting in their back pockets. They saw her immediately come down from level 2. And this is a lot of resources pulled for this bot side.
Look at Copy.
'Cause-
He got the shove in onto Yumbi, and he might go for a little bit of a roam, but
No.
I'm going to take that back. It looks like he's just getting some vision control on the river just to try and check to see where the hell NXI might be pathing.
My heart, I was like, oh, is Copy actually going for a roam on level 3 Galio? This guy's nuts. This guy's, he's just going for it. I was just kind of looking for it, but that was a lot of resources spent towards their bot side, which you need to get ahead, because that's kind of the whole point of this lane. You're looking to try and get a kill lane. You're making sure the enemy AD carry is not having fun. They're diving under turret at this point. Here we go, TP.
TP comes in from Copy, will be able to get in time, and it looks like Team Ocean are just going to call it off, but Joey has been separated by the members of Team Infernal, and it's a disaster as First Blood gets picked up by For Sure You.
Yeah, and that is really, really sloppy. They're going to go for it again on the Shady, but Jan has to flash out.
NXI is really pushing the limits here as much as he can, but he takes one turret shot too many, and Copy is there. Doesn't have summoners, but he might not need it, as NXI is just going to get routed off and punished, and it is just not going the way of Team Ocean.
Yeah, and now we're going to see Joey. He's going to come down here, try to protect the Scuttle. Tomio is level 4. Yunbi is going to be here with gold cards. So is Jan. Tomio in a lot of trouble. Should be able to get out,
camera
though.
Cannot get a chance to figure out which fight we want to look at, because Rodolph and Tony Top are scrapping so hard that it seems like it's going to be lethal here. But Team Ocean, despite being 3 against 4, he can't secure the Scuttle Crab. I think he finally got it, but at what cost? Jan is able to pick up a kill, and NXI is running from the jungle. He's got full health. He does have flash. If he wants to leap in, he can get the mounting trap. Yumbi flashes a little too late. He had the gold card ready, but they're able to get out. But just as I say that, Shady might fall here. Jan is picking up more kills, and Team Ocean are pushing the limits as much as they can. But NXI flashes at the last second. Holy crap! Team out battery. What is happening?
I thought this was Scouting Grounds. I didn't know we went to the Ringley Circus Fair. This is, I mean, what are we doing? We're fighting constantly. We're going for these early trades. The turn dives are not as clean as maybe we would have expected coming out from these two teams, but if there was ever a time to just showcase raw mechanics, I think this is where they're like, okay, we're just doing it. Just go for it. Just all out brawl, making sure that we're blowing as many summoner spells as possible. Yumbi does not have he's able to TP back into the lane, so he'll have a favorable wave state for a little bit here before Copy gets back. I mean, I feel a little bit cheated now because I mean, I'm looking at top lane as, okay, how is Tony Top going to do? He's against the Malphite. He has to kind of get off to a little bit of a running start, but should be okay in the split push. But I mean, it has just been all bot lane all the time. And while Jan was able to get 2 kills, he's able to accelerate some of his gold and specifically put Shoryu behind. Wasn't the cleanest from Ocean.
And if we have to look, Dimitri, a lot of that focus was towards the bot side of the map, but look who suffered the most in the jungle. NXI is down almost 30 CS against Tomio because NXI has been trying to push the dive every single time that he seems to be alive, and Tomio has just said, all right. Ooh. I mean, we told you about the Graves Kindred matchup. Kindred wants to accelerate the game with that early potency, but Graves just farms incredibly fast, and now he's level 6, and NXI still finally gets level 4.
I mean, think about his pathing here. He got enemy red. He went down towards bot side to go for the level 1, level 2 play. Doesn't get anything out of it. Goes back to his jungle, gets his blue buff, comes back to meet up on the fight, and now Tomio hits the ultimate. He doesn't have a lot of mana, so is not gonna be able to get too much information. The dragon is gonna go over in their favor. It is a simple mountain drake, which is definitely needed when you look at Rodolph, just getting as many resistances as possible. And NXI is kind of in a huge trough right now. He just needs to be able to farm. Rodolph, are you okay, buddy? You okay?
He still has unstoppable force in case he needs it. The flash comes in, but it's the counterplay, and Rodolph comes out on top in the solo 1v1.
All right, guys, you know how we were talking about earlier about the ego check? There it is live. Live for you from Rodolph himself. The Ocean team, the Ocean Drake top laner shows up, says, you want to go for the dive? Go for it. Nice flash, buddy. Gonna get punished there. And now Jax, no TP, no flash. Rodolph able to get a fantastic back for himself. Is just gonna kind of ruin a lot of this. Bramblevest first item. Pain. He's even, I mean, Tony Top is able to at least survive for a little bit now, so it's fine. And we even saw the invade coming out from this bot side for NXI to at least get 1 camp back to himself. But 30 creep score down. Looking at Tomio, who's And to be fair, his itemization is like he's got 1400 in tow, so he doesn't have a lot of damage. He has his red smite, but still super far ahead when you look at the experience and the base stats that he's getting.
For Team Ocean, Jan's doing well. Rodolph able to turn around onto Tony Top. Just when things were getting a little dicey for the rock-solid top laner for Team Ocean. But NXI still, the question needs to be asked as he's trying to put so much resources into his bot lane. And now Coffee
here.
coming in with the hero's entrance. Joey's going to get knocked up, and it's just enough for Shady's Ignite to take down Joey.
Really smart play there coming out from the Infernal bot lane. They know, hey, Joey can't stay there, right? He got hit by the Deadly Flourish. He gets rooted up and waits out the Pantheon E. All of a sudden, it's so much extra damage. And Jan now in a really dangerous position. One of the best ways to try and at least deal with the Talia is just push her in. Make sure that, hey, you have to spend more mana trying to clear the wave than trying to fight us. And speaking of wave states, Rodolph, with the best part of top lane, sit right in front of the enemy minion wave and just do this to the enemy top laner. You sit there, say, hey, nice. You can't step up to the wave. You can't get any experience. Can't get any gold. Have fun. You're going to have a lot of fun. Tank versus carry matchup.
Yeah, once Rodolph picks up those ninja tabbies on the next recall, Tony Top is going to be in a lot of pain in this laning phase because no matter how hard he tries to trade back and sustain off of this wave, anytime he goes in for an extended all-in, that Bramble Vest is going to cut down the Grievous Wounds and his ability to survive.
They might even go for a dive here. Look at the supports roaming up right now. NXI is also in the Tri-Brush. He doesn't have level 6. Really important here. Will not have the Lamb's Respite. Actually, he ticks over for the minion wave. They can go for this.
They can, and they definitely will. Yumbi has the gold card, but he has to wait out the Counter-Strike before he can go for the stun. Rodolph taking as much damage as he can. NXI might have to pop the Lamb's Respite, and they make the dive play successful.
Yeah, really well executed. Immediately call all of their members over. Tony Top, he kind of got an inkling there. He's like, do I back up? Because I kind of feel like there's a lot of people up here. Rodolph's playing really aggressively. I can't really step up on the wave. And immediately they go for the punish. So still a huge, great flash from Shady.
Shady had a feeling. He's like, I wonder if they're still in this bush. And then he sees a rock flying towards him at 8-6 Mach speed. And he's like, all right.
Wait a minute. Shady?
What?
Oh,
wait a minute. Oh, wait. Did he use the explosive cast?
Yes.
I didn't even catch it. I looked off
And
for 1 second and I rolled off. He's got nowhere to run. He's got no flash. He's got no unstoppable force. Oh, no. The Rock is trying to run as fast as he can. Tomio has the collateral damage, and he gets in range with the phase rush and takes him down.
Okay, this is why Shady is the most impressive support here at Scouting Grounds. I mean, who else is playing Gragas support for one, and then two, is able to just read this play so clearly, gets the explosive cast down, is able to kind of get a few more turret shots onto Rodolph, knows Tomio is coming in tow, they're able to pick that up for themselves. Incredible job from the Infernal support, and exactly what we want to see when the game is getting a little bit too hectic. Make sure that you're kind of doing skill checks across the board on each lane.
And because Shady is able to punish right off the tail end of Tony Top respawning, he's able to shove in that wave, crash about 2, which is going to put him back into kind of contention with Rodolph in terms of this early lane lead, despite being 20 CS down, but he will be able to match and experience as Team Ocean, trying to pressure Shady and show you off, capitalizing on the fact that Shady was spending a lot of leisure time towards the top lane, trying to protect Tony Top and set him up for success, as Shoryu does have to suffer as a result and is down 20 CS in this lead.
Mark, I just want you to kind of walk me through what your mindset is if you're looking at the enemy jungler and you're close to 3 levels over him. I'll hold that. We might have to hold that as copy, trying to protect his the Raptors there. But I mean, if you're this Graves right now and you look at this, you look at NXI, you're like, dude, this guy's lunch meat. I'm just gonna walk over him and take all of his camps. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, my bot lane's suffering. And we're seeing that lead being pushed as Tomio sitting up in top lane, punishing Rodolph.
Oh, he doesn't even need the collateral damage if he gets out of range, because this Skirmisher's Saber Burn is enough to take on Rodolph in that 1v1 under turret. And with the Rift Herald crashing, they're going to get more turret plate gold. They're going to be able to put the second tier turret in that top lane at lethal for Tony Top to start unlocking the map even further. And even though Tony Top has not been able to finish his first item, he should be on his way as Coffee looking for a pick on the Yumbi, but he's able to step out of the harm's way up the curtain call. But, I mean, look at this, Dimitri. Despite Tony Top getting punished by Rodolph, Team Infernal are able to react and respond and put him back.
Exactly. And specifically, I think really great job from Tomio, pushing his lead, utilizing this Graves and saying, hey, you know what? If I'm going to be this far ahead, I might as well just put the resources into our top laner. Who needs to be ahead? Does our Galio need to be ahead? Not really. He has Predator, not only that, but he also he's there for the ultimate. Does Shoryu, at this point, I think they've just given up on Shoryu. They're like, okay, look, Jin, just farm what you can, buddy. You're going to get whatever creep score you can. You're going to get whatever gold you can. But Tony Top has gotten so many of the resources here for Team Infernal. I wonder how much further how much more of an investment we're going to see, because now that's two tier 2s, all the way tier 2 taken up in top lane. It's only about 2,000 gold. And if I take a look, the gold is about 1,000 in favor of Tony Top. How much do you actually get from that? Because he can't exactly overextend.
But neither can Yumbi as he forces the flash and the cleanse, but it's not going to be enough as Team Ocean, they've got the movement speed and they've got the damage to eventually run him down. Yumbi tried to use the ultimate, thought he was going to be safe, but now here comes reinforcements to Team Ocean, but it might be just a little too late. NXI just can't do a damn thing. He's going to pop the Lance Respite. Yan is here as well for the backup, but can they turn this one around? That is the question. Yan is actually able to flash over the wall and gets out safely, and he's going to push Shady back into the midst of his own base, and Shady's got nowhere to run. Yan, my dude.
What is happening? Okay, that was a really messy fight for both teams. Let's just get that out of the way first. They were all over the place. Yanbi kind of being in a really dangerous position. He doesn't have a lot of ward coverage in mid lane, and because of that, they kind of just surround him from all sides. He dies to begin on that fight, but I mean, Talia's pushing bot lane. She uses her Weaver's Wall to arrive. There's NXI with like 1 HP. I am a little bit confused as to what exactly just happened, just because there's so much going on, and there's like 3 different fights across the map. It kind of ends up in a single kill gold as they're going to go for Tony here.
They're going to try to punish him even further.
There's Shady. Shady's here.
NXI trying to push for it, and now he might get punished here by Shady. There's no Lance Respite. He flashes over the wall, but Copy, getting the movement speed from the Nimbus Cloak, might be able to put him into range, and he gets him with the Winds of War, and a shutdown comes in for Tony Top as Yan was left to die.
Yeah, yet another questionable dive coming out from the Ocean bot lane. NXI being like, okay, let's just go for it. If they would have waited maybe 45 seconds, it's a little bit nebulous as to when this would have occurred, especially with the wave state. Yunbi could just use ultimate, and suddenly now you can at least match the TP that's coming in. They went very aggressive. I don't exactly understand why Ocean are kind of really relying on NXI to be very relevant in this game, considering how far behind. That lead is growing further and further. It is 11-8. You look at the itemization as well. He has a Kerchai shard. Nice. He has a little bit more attack speed, and he got an energized proc. I'm sure you can tell me more than I can tell the folks at home. This Kindred is doing absolutely nothing in a lot of these fights.
Let's take a look at the amount of marks that he has. Don't worry, producer Hyper, the one and only. I will tell you how many marks he has. He only has 2. So he is 2 away from becoming an actual champion.
He's getting one more. He's 3.
RNG, baby, favoring NXI. And so now he's 1 mark away. So once he gets that 4th mark, he'll be able to get an additional 75 range. He'll be a better champion. But being on 500 range this far behind, it definitely feels bad to be a Kindred in this state of the game. We are 16 minutes into it, and a majority of the gold lead is in that jungle matchup here. Tomio almost 2,000 gold up by himself. And with the shutdowns recently coming in onto Yan, that gold lead has stabilized for Tony Top as well.
And take a look at the way that Infernal are kind of posturing right now. You even take a look at how Rodov is. He wants to get his back off as soon as possible. He does not have TP, and Copy, excellently so, cancels the back. He's going to be able to stop that from Rodov, and maybe makes it really hard for them to contest for this next Drake. They're on 2 Drakes, all things considered from this early game. They might even try to find this kill onto Copy. No one's quite here yet. Shady's coming, but here comes Yunbi, here comes a TP.
Oh, TP from Tony Top. Oh, what? Wait. Well, look, thankfully Tony Top did get canceled because he might have TP'd back into a very unfortunate spot. Joey was coming in with the Grand Starfall, and thankfully Copy was able to hero's entrance out of there. Looks like Team Infernal basically avoided what could have been a really bad situation. Tomio is over the wall, but he uses the collateral damage to get the hell out of there once again. He has flash if he wants to get in, but the smite does not come in. It's going to be secured by NXI, and the fight is now down on the river. Joey trying to do as much as he can to stall the fight. Tony Top is in the back line, and Yan is gone. Joey's also gone. NXI is going to fall by the wayside, providing the Lamb's respite, but it's only going to delay the inevitable as the double kill comes in for Tony Top.
Okay, I think if Inferno want to go for the most BM, the correct play here is obviously move towards mid, break open the game, make sure that you're starting to now, completely cannibalize NXI out of the game. The BM play is you wait until the next Drake, you give Ocean Soul to the team, and then ruin the Ocean Soul win rate immediately.
Bruh. Next level BM. I mean, you
Exactly.
could just let Team Ocean secure the Ocean Soul and then
Exactly.
fight them at the Elder Dragon, which at that point, the regen doesn't matter if you just kill them and
Exactly.
execute them once they're below 25% HP. This is 500 IQ Galaxy Brain plays coming in from Team Infernal. Now, gold lead has extended itself to about 3K. 5 kills in favor for Team Infernal. If we have to look at any win conditions here, we didn't get a chance to mention this, Dimitri, but the scaling, unfortunately for Team Ocean, it's not really on their side because NXI still has quite a ways to go before he can really be a considerable threat on this Kindred. And Yawn, I mean, he can do a bunch of burst damage onto Talia, but it's not going to be consistent later the game goes on.
Yeah, I would have said that maybe Ocean have really great scaling just in general. I mean, their champions are just really good all around. In a vacuum, I would give this to Ocean the longer this game goes. But the problem here is that Tony Top is huge. Tony Top is just level, he's level 12. He's got a massive amount of gold. They've given him all the resources. And every single one of the team members on Ocean falls prey to this Jax. Jax immediately runs into the backline with a leap strike, and your backline no longer exists. So it is very dangerous. They need to find these flanks, not only with Tony Top, but also with Yumbi. The Destiny's coming out, and we might see it here.
Pops the gold card on Tomio, and Rodolph comes in with the Unstoppable Force. They might be able to give him a third death in the game. Rodolph picks up that one, and Team Infernal now on the retreat. Gonna have to secede control of this bottom side of the jungle. Baron is not up for another 30 seconds, so there's nothing really that Team Ocean get out of that pick, just establishing some momentum and control of the map.
Exactly, and they'll be able to put a little bit more vision up in topside. The Rift Herald is going to despawn here, but it should at least protect from a potential Baron coming out from the opposite side here from Infernal. That was really overzealous, kind of overstepping. They know that all of these ultimates are available, right? Rodolph with the ultimate, we saw Yumbi, they immediately snap call. So I love the decision making, and I'm glad that that's still here for Ocean, because this game can be very, very demoralizing. You see the early game, you're like, holy crap, this was so much fighting. This was really not fun to play, especially with just how crazy and chaotic it got. But they go for it, they find their kill. Obviously, like you said, not able to find too much, but it softens the blow, and it definitely at least slows the game down just a little bit for Ocean.
Meanwhile, for Team Infernal, as you already said, Tony Top is this just ticking time bomb that continues spiking on every single item that he completes. Trinity Force and Blade of the Rune King in his back pocket. This guy is already a split push monster who, if he is left alone in the side lane for far too long, he's opening the gates. He's going to put on his best Trick 2G and Serchez impersonation, and we'll start opening up the inhibitors.
Yeah, I mean, the problem here is that there's not a lot of turrets taken, right? I mean, he can split push all he wants, but it's going to take him a long time before he gets to that turret, before he gets to those inhibitors. Since the tier 2 has gone down in top lane, no one has been up there from the inside of Infernal. Maybe they've gone up there to collect some residual farm that is kind of bouncing back towards them, but they have not been able to answer this because, I mean, realistically, they need to open up mid as Joey's getting caught out here. That's the flash, and this could be the start of the dragon.
Yawn has to burn the heal, trying to give him a little bit of the movement speed to escape certain death. Another dragon is not on the table anytime soon, but for them, that's important summoner spells burned off of the two bot laners here for Team Ocean, which is going to be proving very useful for Team Infernal to punish once the Ocean Dragon spawns in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, they need to be able to get this. Yumbi has ultimate. There's all of the ultimate abilities available to each of these teams. They need to find a kind of, I mean, the thing is they need to find something.
Oh,
but, I mean,
my
Shady's gonna
God!
start this with that.
Shady with a beautiful explosive cast catches out Rodolph and Yumbi, and Rodolph gets taken out of the fight so fast he doesn't have a chance to be able to re-engage with the Unstoppable Force. Yumbi and Yun also fall. It's just Joey and NXI left by the wayside, but it's not going to be enough, as Team Infernal surely should be able to deny Ocean Soul away from their opponents.
Man, and Infernal just immediately go for the fight. Snap call on that. Just go for it. Shady has been really impressive on this Gragas so far. The explosive casts are hitting every time. They're hitting basically the key members that they need to. And we saw right there, you can be as tanky as you want to on Yunbi right now with this Roa, but he doesn't have the Seraphs as well to kind of complement that damage if he was going for the full scaling build, and he just gets wiped off the map. Exhaust was sitting in his back pocket, and he doesn't have enough time to even proc it. Not even enough to really get it off, make sure that he's able to at least cut some of the damage. And we see there, Yon does a lot of damage, but he's also incredibly squishy, and that's why people like Copy, people like Tony Top are going to be really effective against him. Even Shady going this tank Gragas build is very difficult for the side of Ocean to deal with.
And this is why Talia is so hard to pilot at this point in the game, because yes, as you said before, she's got a lot of burst damage. She has opportunities to set up beautiful picks and just completely delete someone off the map if the vision control is there. But her range of engage to be able to set up those picks is very short compared to Shoryu and compared to, in a way, Shady, because he doesn't have to get in range to body slam and prevent Yon from being able to do anything. He can just throw explosive cast, and Yon will always be in range.
Free
he doesn't
delivery
have flash for that. Yeah, free delivery services. Oh no, Rodolph getting the Tony Top treatment that he was experiencing earlier. Yon is coming in. The Goon Squad is here. The Position Police are coming in to try and rectify the wrongs that Team Infernal were doing with the over-aggression, but can they actually turn it around? And Team Ocean just might have overstayed their welcome as Shoryu comes in with a curtain call on the backside. American Sniper from downtown. Team Infernal looking to run down Team Ocean even further. Shady flashes in, looking for the slow, and into the deadly flourish. A little bit more CC, a little bit more damage. It's going to be lights out for Yon. And it's enough from Tomio and Shoryu to take down the bot laner for Team Ocean. Joey and Rodolph on the run once again, but that turret won't save them from the inevitable. It's a double for Shoryu and another kill for Tony Top. NXI, my friend, I don't know how you can deal with
Wrong way. Go back to the base. you just express back, buddy. This is really greedy, trying to get that blue off NXI.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, so the point of this team composition from Ocean, right? You take a look at it. Is good into Jax. The Malphite should be able to hold him in the lane, and then once we break out a laning phase, you can have Yunbi, you can have Yon and Joey sit in mid lane, and then we saw a little bit there show up in the side lane immediately. Weaver's Wall, Grand Starfall, the Destiny and the Fate. He just comes right down, and all of a sudden now it's not an even fight, but they use all of these abilities super early. The Weaver's Wall actually cuts them off, and Tony Top is able to jump right over. If he maybe calls down that Weaver Wall and they're able to fight Copy, maybe there's a chance there. But it feels like they're fighting 3 different battles, and the team just is not coordinating around some of these abilities.
And the biggest thing that they are underestimating is how squishy some of these members are. Obviously, if they make the pick on Shoryu, he's going down. He's got no resistances. He's a Jhin. But if it goes over to Tony Top, even though he has Trinity Force and Blade of the Ruin King, you have to remember once he pops that Grandmaster's Might, he's getting a crap ton of resistances from all the extra damage that he is stacking on top of himself. And now with the Death Stance almost completed, just waiting on one more component and a little bit of extra 500 gold, how do you kill Tony Top successfully with these global roam picks? You have to dedicate so many resources, and if you do that as Team Ocean, Team Infernal are going to be quick to punish on the other side of the map.
I just want to note, as we're getting further in this game, some more items are being picked up, obviously. Rodolph, I'll hold that as the current call opens up. They're trying to find something on the Joey, but the Weaver's Wall should protect him. Predator, but let's go into safety, and a lot of good items are coming in, obviously. Tony Top has just now finished that Death Dance. Yeah, Rodolph right now is sitting on some really good items for the most part, and NXI has finally finished his first real item that is not a jungle item. So, congrats. We're making it to that point. Yunbi is starting to pick up a few more, but like important things for the top side of the map are going on as Yunbi in so much trouble. Look at this.
There's no way that he gets out alive. He pops the gold card, but there's just so much damage from Tony Top that he doesn't have enough time to be able to pop the Destiny and get away safely. And now without Yunbi, it's got 40 seconds for Team Infernal to make a punish happen. Ocean Dragon is up on the table in the next 25, so Yumi will not be able to join there because he doesn't have teleport and he doesn't have Destiny anymore.
Yeah, and look at the control that they're putting into this, right? I mean, they, find that right onto Yon, gets his flash, explosive cast down. That should just mean that this Drake is just going to go over another okay, hold up. Mark, we gotta get real quiet here.
Be really quiet.
NXI and Rodolph are here. So they were spotted. Copy is running him out of the jungle. TP's here.
Bro, look at the amount of balls that Shoryu has. He is walking up in the face of Joey. Okay, that wasn't fair. Tony Top, there was an honorable 1v1. You disobeyed it. You dishonored it. But the kill goes over to Team Ocean, or Team Infernal, I should say. Anyway, as they pick up another one on NXI. No jungler to be able to contest with a smite. Team Infernal will pick up the second Ocean Dragon for themselves.
Yeah, and this game was looking close. Remember, we were like 12-7 10 minutes ago, and now it is 22-8 at 28 minutes. This game is not just slipping from their hands; it is completely fumbling out of their grasp on the side of Ocean. NXI is way too far behind right now to kind of be relied upon as a potential carry, and Yunbi, for as good as his TF is being absolutely punished by the rest of Infernal. This Jax is too massive for the squad as the Baron is going to go down. They take this incredibly fast. Thanks to Tony Top. Level 16 already. We're kind of getting to that point where Jax is becoming unmanageable on the side of Ocean, even with Rodolph there.
I mean, we talked about it before, right? There's not enough consistent damage from Team Ocean with the champions that they drafted here. It's all about burst. Yumbi on this Twist of Fate keeps getting picked off, and you know that he cannot face Tony Top in the side lane. Neither can Rodolph at this point, despite how many resistances that he has stacked up on this Malphite. He's just going to get shredded. And I mean, how does NXI or Yawn deal with Tony Top at this point? And so, for NXI, he's finally finished the Stormrazor, and he's going to all in on this Infinity Edge. And he's still got quite a ways to go in terms of that item completion, because he's still sitting on... He needs a BF sword, which is about 1,300, and then another 425 for that final item completion. So, and he's about under 1K.
It's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and you take a look at some of these items. I mean, Yon has gone for a full penetration build right now. He's got the Void Staff. He's got the Sork Pen boots, as well as sitting on an O-Orb. But it's like, how much damage can you actually do? Every single one of these fights are played on the back foot for Motion. They can't go a little bit more aggressive with their positioning. They can't try and find someone on the side wave, because all of a sudden multiple members are coming out. They not only have that, but there's no summoners. You take a look at this. Yon doesn't have flash. Anytime that NXI or Yon or Yumbi do not have a summoner available to them that isn't like a flash, their possibility of like living in a team fight drastically decreases.
Yeah. It is very hard to say that Team Ocean have a realistic way of getting back into this game. However,
do we caster curse this one, Mark? Do you maybe say like Infernal, don't throw, just don't throw?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we said game one, and Team Ocean got really close, but this time around, that I know you said that they quote unquote have the scaling factor. I would like to respectfully disagree.
Okay.
But you know that I'm okay with us having differing opinions. That makes for a more interesting discussion about how the later this game goes on. I just don't think that NXI is going to be able to ramp up on this Kindred in time to match up with Tomio, who I'm pretty sure, if we go back to the item leads as...
Oh no, Mark, I lost you to the void.
Well...
Oh no.
I'm getting Thanos snapped.
There you go.
Thanos snapped. It tends to happen as these games get really, really, really tense, as camera can't handle it anymore. There's too much pressure on the line here. But I don't know, Alk Battery. I mean, maybe you can shed some light on how, if you're in this position as Team Ocean, what are the first few steps that you're taking to try and get yourself back into this game?
Well, first, if I'm playing top lane, I'm not playing Malphite. I'll let you know that right now.
Okay, well, listen, that's too late.
Exactly.
You can't, that's cheating.
Yeah, okay. Again, a lot of this kind of is predicated on vision. They want to make sure that they're keeping up their vision line, protecting some of their jungle, not only for NXI, but also just to set up for flanks. Make sure you're utilizing these TPs from Rodolph, because you have an amazing team fighting top laner here in Rodolph, right? Making sure that if he's set up to use his ultimate in a really great position, this completely can wipe Infernal's chances of winning that fight, at least. As we're going to see Tomio being so aggressive.
Tomio doesn't even have Infinity Edge completed, and he almost one-shot
There it
NXI, but the
is.
counter engage from Team Ocean might be enough to turn things around. They do lose Yon onto the backside, but the rest of Ocean frontline are pushing forward, and they find Shoryu and get a massive shutdown for Yumbi. Now it's up to Coffee and Shady to turn things around. Shady's been massive on this Gragas. Let's see if they
Yumi
can put
win
down
this.
the damage, and it's actually enough, but Yumbi, can he turn it around? He actually is doing a decent amount of damage to Coffee, but look at Tony Top! Tony Top is threatening to end the game, and it's up to NXI to see if he can stall, but Shady is providing so much in terms of stall as well. Yumbi has to force the cleanse out. Coffee and Shady are on the run. Throws out the gold card. With the stopwatch, and Tony Top, he comes in with the backdoor. There's nothing that NXI can do. Just like that, Team Infernal will come out and succeed in taking down Team Ocean 2-0.
Yeah, and not only 2-0, but very dominant in both of these games, right? Maybe we could say that game one was a little bit more kind of back and forth, but that was just an absolutely kind of nuts game to begin with. That was action from like second one. It wasn't even minute one. We didn't even wait for the minions to spawn. We're diving turrets. We're going to go and try and find something on a Tony Top. We're going to try and find something onto Tomio a little bit early on. But I think a lot of great things were kind of shown through this game. NXI for Ocean needs to be ahead. This kind of duo between Yumbi, we have been praising them throughout our scouting grounds, and kind of fell apart in this series before our eyes. Rodolph is doing as much as he can. I think Yana and Joey get a little bit of a kind of commiseration prizes, but NXI was by far and away the biggest detractor for this series on side of Ocean.
Tried all that he could. The Talia early game was impressive, but we pointed out the fallacy and the flaws that if this does not accelerate the game fast enough, then it's not going to be enough damage, and it's very susceptible to being engaged and punished due to Talia's short range. It's a reason why we don't really see it in the meta anymore, as there's so many other champions that are just good at punishing a Talia that doesn't have summoners up to reposition herself safely. And it's exactly what we saw transpire on screen. And for NXI, a lot of people were hyping up NXI to be the best jungler coming into this tournament. But also, there were people ready to speculate saying, no, it's because NXI was on 100 Thieves. When everyone is winning in your lane, then it's very easy for NXI to succeed. And he definitely had some very bright moments despite his team being behind in some of the earlier matches this week. But in today's game, on this Kindred, forcing dive after dive after dive and just coming out negative on the result just put him continuously behind, and Tomio was just able to punish here Aug Battery. And before we get ready to throw it to a break as we get ready for an interview, is there anything that you want to give in terms of last thoughts?
For scouting grounds and whole, I guess I was wrong. Jungle is king. I was really ready to see a bunch of top difference.
Always, baby.
And I think a lot of things were proven about some players that the teams that they were on in scouting ground circuit, you know, I give them all of their thanks for playing, and a lot of really great work between all of the amateur teams. But seeing different players in different situations for their environments has really opened up. Obviously, I've already spoken a lot about how I feel about Tony Top. I thought that coming in, he was by far one of the weaker top laners, and he came up as like far, far, far ahead of every single one of them. And Tomio, I think a lot of doubts were casted on almost every single member here on this squad, maybe except for Shoryu, as maybe they're just good players on great teams. And we just got to see kind of back-to-back games every single series that these guys are kind of, the best players in their role by far.
And it's definitely something that we've seen historically, not just through the amateur scene, but all over levels of professional play. I mean, we've seen imports that get drafted over to the West, whether it's the NA or the LEC scene, and they're supposed to be great players, but then on the wrong teams with the wrong fit, it doesn't pan out. And that's why it's so important that teamwork and macro play and synergy is so emphasized here. And, I completely echo your sentiments. It's definitely a surprise to see Tony Top going from a more underwhelming performance with Mirage during the scouting ground season to showing why he is one of the best top laners that needs to be respected. We are going to throw it to a quick break, but when we come back, we will have William Chilling Walk Moi to have an interview with the winners from Team Infernal.
do what we love. Risk the fall, or we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of the world that we defy. A soul ride of the few who rise up high, and we
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2020 LCS Honda Scouting Grounds. I'm here joined today, right now, from the AD carrier of Inferno, former new esports AD carry, Shoryu. Coming at you today. Shoryu, got to check in, my man. How are you feeling after that 2-0?
Feeling good, man. I couldn't be more blessed to play with this group of players. I think going to SG, I wasn't really worried, or I wasn't really aware of. Yeah, just wasn't sure about what kind of teammates I'd be playing with, and it's really cool
For
to
sure.
see some really really passionate guys, and I mean they're all young and so fucking talented, so it feels really good.
All right, well, sure. I just want to make sure. Be mindful of the language, homie. I know you understand.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. Just want to give you a heads up. Be mindful of the language. We on Riot. They don't
Yeah,
want all of us cussing out right now.
of course,
But
of course.
let's go and rewind into game one, good sir, because game one, it was kind of a slow start for you around the 20-minute mark. You guys had a
Mhm.
6K gold lead, but you're
Yeah.
sitting there 1-1 and 11 here. Your jungler and your mid laner was kind of popping off, doing their own thing. Of course, your support was too. I was wondering how you were feeling at that time, because it was looking like the game was in the bag, but you were just there chilling.
Yeah, that game was kind of like late game insurance. My team was like doing really good topside. Everyone was doing good, so I was just ready to farm my 3 core and be ready to fight. And yeah, later in the game, I started to come online more, and I mean, it showed, right? But my team
Mhm.
really carried me to that point, so it felt really good.
Okay. And then a little bit about that game too, where you guys made a little bit of fumbles going in. You guys had a couple of throws with some team fights that you weren't really a part of. I was just kind of wondering how the communication was during that time. Were you guys a little bit nervous, or were you guys still doing okay? How was it going?
No, I actually don't think any of my players like really feel the nerves. I think everyone really has that killer instinct, especially Tomio.
Yeah.
And sometimes it goes the other way, and sometimes he dies, but most of the time it's pretty good. So yeah, I think all those plays were just really really ready to exploit our enemy, and these guys have a lot of holes in their game. So Tomio sees them.
Yeah, I definitely understand the killer instinct. Not a lot of players usually have that. And that's something that,
Yeah.
players really need to have. And that's something that, is really appreciative, especially coming from Tomio, who hasn't really played in amateur compared to you and compared to some other players in the scouting on circuit. But I actually want to go into game two real quick, Shoryu, because game two draft, it's kind of looking real standard. You got the Lilia pick here. You picked yourself up a Jhin, but then, Ocean threw you a wild card. They picked in that Attilia bot lane, Talia Pantheon bot lane, the Avengers, if you will. And for you as the AD carry, you're the one, you and Shady being the main two having to deal with that lane. How was it like during that communication during draft when you guys saw those two picks?
Yeah, we knew if they didn't win the game in 20 minutes, we'd win the game. So yeah, we just had to prepare those bot dives. My mid laner did a really good salvage TP and really
Mm-hmm.
saved our butt spot. So yeah, we just held out. We found good fights, and we hit the 25-minute mark, 30-minute mark where
Mm-hmm.
Pantheon Talia's starts to slow down a bit, and
For sure.
we found some really big fights, secured that fourth drag, and the game was ours. So
Mm-hmm. So then, in regards to that point, then when it came to just understanding when you guys already had that advantage, so you guys weren't even worried at all during the early game when they were trying to slug it out real early on, going for those early invade and stuff. Were you guys at any point nervous during that time at all? Were you guys just like 100% confident?
no, I really don't think like any of my group of players is nervous. These guys all are so passionate and so ready to fight all the time, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's so crazy. This is really not what I expected, and yeah, I don't think any of us feel the nerves right now. So it feels really good.
All right. Yeah, that's honestly so good to hear, because a lot of teams have been following a little bit, but for Inferno, I've been watching y'all throughout the entire time. And you guys look like a really damn solid team. I'll tell you that much. And credits to you, credits for the trust that looks like you already have for Tommy and for everyone else on your squad, because that trust is honestly really hard to build up, and I appreciate that a lot. But ending it off with the last question here for you, Shoryu. Tomorrow is going to be the big showcase that is going to be on the Riot channel, and of course, you guys are going to have a rematch against Ocean. And I want to see I actually want to ask you, do you have a message for at this point your rivals, because they're the ones who are the underdogs? You got anything else to say to Team Ocean when you guys face them tomorrow?
Yeah, I hope they review the game and make it a little more competitive tomorrow because
Woo! All right, yo, you hear sure you finding those shots, Ocean? Y'all, you guys better listen. You guys better watch those reviews and see what brings up, because it sounds like Shoryu and the rest of the team here are honestly just chilling. They were 100% confident going in. But Shoryu, I gotta thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate that a lot. You on that hustle, we on that hustle, and that's how it's gonna be. But for everyone on the 2020, everyone on the stream right now for the 2020 Honda LCS Scouting Grounds, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for the official broadcast of all these 4 teams and showcasing the immense talent that has been developed right now. So without further ado, this is going to be it. This is going to be me closing it out. So thank you everyone for joining us on the broadcast, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.